Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on ABAP on Cloud come RESTful ABAP programming training. In the last couple of episodes, we talked about unmanaged scenario using ABAP RESTful programming model. We talked about the new ABAP syntax, and then we also discussed what is a business object in RESTful context, how to develop a RESTful context application object with association and composition tree. And finally, in the last session, we talked about entity manipulation language syntax in ABAP to work with a ready-to-use business object in a managed scenario. We are now currently working to develop a scenario for approver and processor in context of managed scenario. Our scenario, which we discussed about a couple of classes ago, was to develop an application with two different types of users. One will be the processor and one will be the approver of a flight. So as you can see in this, we have by far built the base CDS model, which constitutes your business object. We've also created a behavior definition for the same. And this behavior definition or the business object we have tested utilizing the concept of EML. And now in today's class, we will start with the left hand side. First of all, we will build this complete end-to-end business processor scenario. And who's the processor of a flight? A processor of a flight would be the person who supposed to create new bookings, who's supposed to create new travel requests, who also can add different variety of supplements as part of a flight booking. And then this person also can save this, edit or delete the booking information or the travel information. Now, on the right hand side, however, the approver have very limited functionality available. This person cannot create new records, cannot do deletion of records, but can edit only few fields. Together with that, this person can also have two actions to perform. One is approve, another is reject. So that's what the current setup we have it. We will be developing it, and now we will go ahead and see how to achieve these two scenarios step by step. So remember, the middle layer is already complete, is step number 1 and step number 2. Now it's time to go ahead and build step number 3, which is creating the projection CDS for the UI consumption with UI annotations. So we will be creating projection views, one for each of the entity which we have in our business object. Just a quick reminder, a business object is constitutes of multiple entities. Each entity represents a CDS view. You can see here, this is a CDS view, this is a CDS view. So in this case, we have, in our scenario, we have 3 entities. So number of entities are 3. It whole constitutes as one business object, and it has one root node, and we will be having one CDS view per entity. So in total, we already have 3 CDS view, which is in the base layer, CDS data model layer, and now we will be creating projection layer for the CDS views, which includes the UI annotation. So first I will be building a display like application, and then we will be enabling the create update delete functionality. As you know, it's a managed scenario, so entire functionality for CRUD will be managed by the framework itself. You don't have to do anything extra, yet still sometimes you have to do actions, determinations, all that kind of stuff, which we will be slowly looking at. And for that, you may have to add logic, and that's where our knowledge of EML plus new web syntax will help us. We will be also doing that going forward. So let's get started with building the projection CDS for our current model for the processor scenario. So going ahead towards the step number 3, creating the projection CDS with UI annotations for the CDS data models. And we go back. So by far you can see this is the behavior definition for managed scenario we created, and we have 3 entities. First is travel, booking, and the booking supplement. So let's create one by one for each of the entity one projection CDS. So I will go back here. You can see here manage travel, booking supplement, and booking. So we will be creating now a projection for this particular entity. the first entity for processor scenario. Projection will be created now. So I can just go back and right click on data definition and just make a before copy to this name, and let's go ahead and create a new data definition. And now just come here, manage scenario processor. I just name proc underscore travel. The following strict naming convention. And now here you can see define a projection view. You can see here this option. Okay, this option is not used for any other cases like creating a base CDS. This option is only used to create projection CDS views. So I click on that and say finish. So as we have also discussed in context of RESTful ABAP, projection is to minimize the scope of fields. For example, if you have, let's say, 5,000 fields in total in your base CDS model, or in your database tables you have 5,000 fields, and these 5,000 fields are available here in this CDS. But for my processor scenario, let's say case A, I don't want all 5,000 fields. I only want maybe 100 fields. So you don't have to redevelop everything all over again. You just can do a projection from the base CDS and expose only the fields which are, let's say, 100 in this case, to the scenario number A. So this is what the setup which we can follow. So I'm going to go back, and we will be only exposing the fields which we really need as part of this projection. So the source of the projection is my source travel CDS. Okay, and then I can do control space, and it shows me all the elements. I just inject all the elements, and now we will go ahead and start giving different annotations. So first annotation, I don't want to do any authorization checks, so I will say not required at this point of time. Then I will give UI annotation for header info. We have talked about these annotations already, so I'm just going to take it little faster. Because we had also did this in case of a unmanaged scenario for creating a display like Fiori application. So right now I'm creating a display like Fiori application. And we will also give an alias name for all the fields. In our projection. So ultimately your Fiori UI will be talking to only this one. Okay, our Fiori UI will be only talking to this one. So let's add the booking fee. We just save this. We will also add a search element. And now we can go ahead and define individual annotations to display the object page on the list screen, as well as we will also add for line item and search elements on the page. Okay, so this also it's important to define the root view, because this is my root of This is my root of a composition tree or the business object. So it's mandatory to also mark it as a root view. Otherwise you will get an error. So you can see I've already marked it. And now let's define the annotations. So these are all the annotations which we also used in the past in case of unmanaged scenario to create a display like application. Same annotations I'm using here. Okay, and let's add now here annotation for creating the travel ID as part of the line item and search identification. Identification is for object page because we want to also show this on the object page on the next screen when the list item comes up. And as a user can enter travel ID between 1 to 999999. That's a label, just a label. Just me maximize this. So these two annotations, this one will bring the column in the smart table and this one will bring the item on the object page, the field on the object page. Now also I will say this default search element will be considered as travel ID. So search dot default search element is true. So that's my first field. The second set of field, let's go ahead and add them one by one. So similar to this, now we will go ahead and add agency ID. Just reuse this piece of code for agency ID. Item position is 20. Importance is again high. Identification is 20. And label we will put as agency ID. Don't need to. If you don't need to put a label, system will pick it up from the data element of your database table. And this time I'll also put the selection field because that has to be also come as part of my selection. Okay, sorry, it has to go the next one. Here. All right, so that's my second field which is going to display the agency ID data. Now I'm going to create the next one which is my customer ID, which is position number 30. Then comes his begin date, position number 40. And we will remove the label because I want it to pick the label from data element already. And now we will have end date 50. Booking fee 60. Total price 70. Currency code 80. Description 90. status 100. Created by, created on, changed, and these fields are administration fields, will be determined automatically by the system. We do want to show these fields, but only as a display only field. So we will not be showing them to the end user, but they will be evaluated automatically inside. So we will be hiding these fields by using @ hidden equals to true annotation. So that's what we will be doing. So let's do that. And rest all the fields I don't want to show. I just save this. So this becomes our projection CDS with basic UI annotations added to it. I can just activate this. So this is our processor projection CDS for travel. Similarly, now we have to go back and add the projection for the booking. So let's create projection for booking and booking supplement both one by one. So I will take this booking CDS and we will also create data definition, manage processor scenario for booking. Next, projection view. And we put here manage booking. Let's inject. All the elements have come. And now on the same fashion, we will also define annotation. So remember, this is a projection on top of the existing CDS data model. As I mentioned, let's say your main CDS have 5,000 fields. Out of those 5,000 fields, you just want to show only, let's say 10 fields, 20 fields. So in that case, you can use it, the projection. This is how we build complete end-to-end managed scenario. Authorization not required. Once again, let's go ahead and add the base annotations. So we just go ahead and add UI header info. Same way, the way we just completed our travel view, travel projection, we are just doing it. Booking, type plural name, all right. So that's our booking, and just have to say booking ID here. Yeah. Okay. So that's our booking one, and we also have to add here the annotations as usual for facet, and this time the ID is this is an identification reference, and then we have label and position as 10. Okay. And then comes is the second one, which is for the booking ID, and we can just take those annotations from there and just quickly put them here as well. Just bring it on. This one comes 20, 20. Label, let it bring from the so line item position 20, identification position 20 for my booking ID field. Similarly, we will also add all of them one by one. Remember, for this one, we don't have selection fields because the booking will be a sub element of the main element travel. So we'll not have the selection field here for the booking. So just okay. So let's add them. This one comes 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay. So that's our basic booking CDS. And now in the next subsequent step, we will also create the projection for booking supplement. So let's go ahead and create a booking supplement. So I'm just going to activate this one. Yeah, it got active. And now let's create for booking supplement the processor scenario projection. So I will create new and let's copy the name from there, makes it easy for me. Proc booking supplement. Projection view with your annotations, and let's define that exactly the same order. We are just creating projection for all of them one by one. Not required. Control space, inject all the elements quickly and just give aliasing. Okay, let's add annotations. Exactly the same way, the way we created the travel and the booking one. Okay, So that's booking supplement ID, which will go there. And now this seems to be complete also, and we can just save this and go ahead with the activation of this view. So this is the way we've created all three projection view. As you can also go back here. So for each of the entity which we have in our business object, we have created a projection view with UI in it, UI annotations in it. Okay, I have missed out here the UI annotations. Let me quickly add them for the booking supplement one, similar to the one which we added for the booking. Just quickly add that. We will be adding all of them here one by one. Position 10, booking ID 20, supplement ID 30, this one not required, this one 40, 50, 60, and this one UI dot hidden is true. Okay, so let's activate this one also. Now, just now, I will go back and show you once again what we have done in the main business object. What we have done in main business object, we define the travel as a route view, and then we have added this composition to the booking. And then in the booking managed CDS view, we have also added a parent-child relationship. You see association to parent to the travel. This is what we exactly have done when it comes to the our main CDS. Now, similar kind of relationship must also exist in your projection layer. So for that, we also have to now go ahead and make sure that the similar relationship also exists in projection layer. Now, this comes from the base automatically to the projection layer. Now, what I will simply do is I will go ahead and create a display like app by creating the service accordingly. So right now, just let me close this, all of this, and we will just simply create a behavior definition of managed type on the top of the projection which we've already built, and this one then automatically create all the crude implementation behind the scene because it's a managed scenario. So what I'll do is I will go back and I will say, hey, please create for my CDS processor, managed processor projection travel, please create a behavior definition. So you can see I can choose now behavior definition here. Let me select that and I will say next, and you can see it's already selected here the projection type. Okay, you will not have an option here to choose anything else because it detects that it's a projection on top of managed scenario, so it automatically got the implementation time projection. I say next and say finish, and now you can see system has automatically added here the method for create, update and delete of my travel. So now just also give an alias name here as travel. Just save this, and this is our projection which is created on top of it. But now what next which we have to do is we will just go ahead and create a service, and then that service we will just do a preview. So as a preview you will be able to see the data coming out of the system into the Fiori application. Now together with this, you can see right now it's only enabling the create, update and delete for my only the travel. But what about the create, update, delete of booking? That's something which it is not exposing. The reason is we have not added annotations to define the relationship how the travel and booking are interrelated. That is another step which we have to ideally do it when we are creating these annotations. So for that you have to also go back, or maybe I just quickly continue with this one, and then I will go ahead and add annotation. Maybe just let me delete it. I will add it before only, so that will not have a problem later point of time. So I will go back to the travel annotation here, travel projection. This is our travel projection, and here only I will now mention in this UI facet section that one travel will have multiple booking. So that UI annotation is very, very important, without which you will not be able to see bookings inside the travel. So let me add that here, and then it will be an ID. I will say booking. So each travel will have multiple booking, and just say purpose, standard. Just save this up. Awesome. Let's finally save this. We have got all our entities exposed. Let's activate, and now we will do service binding to generate the Fiori app preview. So as we have all the U annotations in our projection properly placed, you will see the system will automatically generate the basic app preview for us. All right, so just make sure everything is active. We will just go ahead and now create the service binding. So I'm going to go right click, say new service binding. I think also here directly you can create new service binding for this service definition, and I will say ZATS00 processor service binding. And this will also get you the basic app preview for the UI. So this is just a display like app, not even just display like, but it will also do the create, because we have this as a managed scenario. And now I will just activate the service endpoint to test it locally in our system. So what are all the steps we did? I'll just quickly write down in a nutshell in the notepad file, so that you can just connect these pieces, because there are too many steps. So very first step is we have implemented the business object, which includes 3 entities. This was done in the last class. The travel, booking, and booking supplement. Then in the step 2, we have defined the base behavior definition, which has got definition for all entities. That was also done in the last class. Then in step 3, we have now in today's session defined the projection layer for entities, basically one for travel, one for booking, and one for booking supplement. Important thing to note that while defining the projection, we have to provide UI annotations, which include facet, line item, selection field, identification. This is all we have provided, and then together with that we have also make sure that association points to parent and child as per original definition in the projection, which we missed it actually. When we did it first time, it was giving me syntax error. So if you just go back here, you see it has all the UI annotations including facet, line item, identification, and together with that it has also this very important syntax to define or connect the relationship which is defined at the base level already. So this is very important step which we missed out. So now we have that, okay, in place. So after that, in step number 5, we created behavior definition. Now this is behavior projection definition. So if you go back to the behavior definition, you see it's a projection type, which will now tell what is that you want to expose. So your base projection layer, your base behavior definition supports everything: create, update, delete of travel, booking, and booking supplement. But here you can decide what is that user can do in this context. So since it's a processor, it's not an approver, the processor can do create, update, and delete of everything along with the booking. So that's a behavior definition we have defined, and you can see this association is also picked up to allow us to create booking along with the travel. So that's the create behavior definition for projection layer. And finally, we created service definition. We expose all entities and master data views for service and create service binding with exposure of data. And activate the endpoint. Let's run this now. I'm going to go back, and now you can see it's already in here. Everything is active. We can simply go to the travel and right click here on the travel and say open the Fiori app element preview. So you can see the travel is having association to booking, and then the booking have association to booking supplement, and the booking supplement of course referring to other CDS views. So I will come back, just connect, log on to my ABAP trial. It should now show us a basic Fiori app element preview as per the UI annotations which we had kept. Yes, you can see the basic preview. As you can see, I've not given many selection fields. It's not showing me any selection fields. Ideally, it should show a selection fields also to us. It's not showing. We had put them in annotation. Are we using a different one? No, we are using correct one. Why my annotations are not loading? We had put already annotations in our travel processor here, and this travel processor I hope is what I have exposed here. Oh guys, I am so sorry. You can see I have not exposed the correct one. You see I have exposed the management. I have to expose our travel processor, booking processor, and booking supplement processor. I'm really sorry, I have not exposed the correct ones. So we have to expose this processor CDS. Really sorry for that. Just save and activate again, and you can just come back and refresh. So since we are developing the processor, we have to expose our processor processor related entities. I hope this will now bring all the annotations accordingly. Or data metadata failed, of course, because now the definition also needs to be recreated. I'm just going to right click, delete, and recreate the service binding once again for Fiori UI. Because we had used the wrong entities, we have to now correct it. We have added the correct entities, so accordingly the service binding needs to be recreated for this service definition. Any questions in the meantime? Anybody on these steps? Anyone? Any questions? There are so many steps, but of course it will say take some time for you to remember these steps. Even for me, it takes time. I have my notebook where I've written all the steps to remember, and then accordingly I'm building it, because it initially takes a little bit of time for get used to this new way of development with RESTful ABAP. So new service binding, and let's give the name. Okay, it's giving some error saying that it's already there. There's some framework dump coming. I think I have to create another definition itself. There's a dump coming in framework. It's not accepting this. Max item count 2. Name Z80S00 processor subscription or data. Something it's giving an error. It's not allowing me to create. Let me just try again. I will share all this code, latest code with all of you. You can try these steps in the system yourself. It's giving me weird errors. Execution of get request binding validate check. It's giving this error. Is my binding not active? Binding seems to be active. It is active. Why it's giving me this error now? Try to create binding from here. No guys, there is some weird issue coming now with respect to this. Count to ATS this something, it's giving me an error now. Let me just check, load the full content here. Is there any problem with respect to our? No, I don't see anything wrong. That element was still deleted but still kind of pointing to the same one. I think it will no more allow me to create binding for this. It has created the binding, but it will no more allow me to create the service binding for this managed scenario again. Let's try one more time. Just delete this. Delete it. And we'll try to create again for service definition manage travel processor. Okay. Service definition is getting activated, but service binding has an issue. Because we already activated for these entities before. You see it's giving me an error now in the trial system. It says it is finding max count item to validate. It's causing any dump from the framework side. It's causing a dump from the framework side. Just give me a moment. I need to maybe relog. So what I'm trying to do is I will just go back and recreate the ABAP connection with a new key, and then we will see in the system. So this is our ABAP system. In the dev space, service instances, we have our ABAP instance running. We go to service key, and I will remove and add another service key now here. New service key. And try to add the system with this new service key one more time. Just copy the service key from here. And we will go back and add our system one more time. ABAP Cloud Project. Pass the service key. Paste the service key. Next. Just trying to re-add the system, guys, because system is behaving little weird. It's not allowing me to activate my service binding for my managed scenario processor. Edit the system again. All right, let's open our artifact one more time, and I will straight away open our artifact because I've stored the name of the artifact here. Let's open the service definition directly. Okay, so it's in our package, and now I will try to recreate the service binding one more time. Last time we'll give a try. You see, still it's giving me an error because already the old service binding is registered with the same entity. So system is now giving me this dump. This issue is coming because while deleting it, I have deleted it without deactivating it. And now there are already a service binding in the system, and until the system cleanup runs, it will not be able to allow me to register another service binding for the same service definition. So what to do in this case? We have to explore a little bit more to just somehow find a workaround to overcome this problem. So maybe what I will do is I will go to an existing service binding, in this case maybe this Z manage UI, and in this here itself I'll try to add this service definition which we just created. Just give me a try. Service definition, finish. Let me see if it allows. No, see, same error is coming. So what's happening is now system is no more allowing me to add the service definition which we created, because earlier for For these same entities, there is already a service definition which we had created and deleted, and it did not clean up from the system. When we delete from here, it did not clean up from the system, and then now system is detecting this, and it's not allowing us to actually change it anymore. It's not allowing me to create the service binding anymore. So let me keep trying it, maybe see some more workaround. So we are not able to somehow create the service binding again for the same entities. Maybe we have to pause our session here and wait for maybe some time in the system cleanup runs, and tomorrow's session probably it will allow us to create the service binding for processor. And the moment it will create, it will also then allow us to run the processor scenario with all the U annotations are kept in the CDS view. It will accordingly display our scenario to us. Yeah, any questions, anyone? I know it's little confusing today, but I hope these steps makes it clear what exactly we did. So we have just simply created new CDS definitions. We have added U annotations there required to be displayed the Fiori application. Then we have defined the relationship association points, and then finally created behavior definition, service definition, and service binding to activate and to see the Fiori elements preview. I hope these steps makes it more clear how do we proceed about the processor scenario. Any questions before we close? Unfortunately, cannot show you the output today because system is not allowing us to generate the service binding once again for the same scenario. Any questions, anyone? No questions? I cannot hear you. No questions? Okay. So then we can close our today's session, and in the next session, I will come back and try to register this service once again, create the service binding for OData Fiori UI, and then we will see the data preview. I will share all this source code again in the training blog with all of you with our class number. Please download and try to build this scenario yourself in the system, and I will see you in the next class. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.